this turnout. My name is Perry, and I'm a Senior Organizing Manager for Forward Montana here in Billings. I would love to thank the League of Women Voters and Yellowstone Indivisible who are here tonight, who helped us get the word out about this event.
I am recording the forum right here. So. I'm sorry.
We've all come together to make sure our community has the tools and information they need to cast an informed ballot this November. I say this every year, but I'm very honored to be here and do this work in a city that I love very much. Speaking up in matters like our local elections matter for everyone, so I'm so glad you're all here, also engaging. We're so excited tonight to hear from both mayoral and city council candidates. A special thank you to all the candidates that took the time to be here tonight. We really appreciate that. Municipal elections are coming up on November 4th. I'll remind you at the end, but this isn't all mail-in elections, so we're just trying to remind folks to keep an eye out for your ballot. They should be mailed out around October 15th, so keep an eye out for that. All of us here are so thrilled to get you the information you need. If you still need to register to vote, you can do that through Monday at 5 p.m. and at the Forward Montana table at the front, and the, don't know where you guys are, League of Women Voters table, you can also register. So a few housekeeping things before we get started. We are starting tonight with our mayoral candidate forum, and we're going to briefly describe what the mayor does and then let each candidate take 2 minutes to introduce themselves. And then we're going to jump into our questions that we prepared ahead of time, and then kind of a silly fun section that is a surprise to the candidates. I promise it's nothing too scary. And then we're going to move into the city council candidate forum at 7 after some audience questions for mayors. So, if you came in for the forum, you should have received a goodie bag at the front door. If you didn't get one yet, you can still get one. It has audience question cards that you can be writing questions down on throughout the forum. And we are going to come around and collect those near the end of this part of the forum. You'll hear another announcement. There's also a bingo card. It's on just random things the candidates might say. So if you want to play bingo, we're going to have 2 prizes for people for each of the 2 rounds of mayor and city council. Please do not yell bingo while candidates are speaking. Stand up afterward and yell bingo. And also use your audience questions. We'd love to hear from you all. I think that's it for housekeeping, so I'm going to pass it over to my mayoral moderator, Ren. Thank you all.
Thanks, Perry. She just mentioned my name is Ren. I'm a fellow for Forward Montana, and we are just going to jump. I'm going to sit with you guys. We're just going to jump right into the mayoral forum. Today we have all 4 of the candidates for mayor with us. We've got Mike Nelson, Mike Boyett, and actually I'll have you guys raise your hands just in case anybody can't see your nameplate. So Mike Nelson and Mike Boyett, Amanda Hausler, and Jennifer Owen. Each candidate's going to have 2 minutes to introduce themselves and tell us a bit more about why they're running, and we're going to start with Mike Nelson.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mike Nelson. I'm a candidate for mayor, and in 2 minutes I'm going to tell you my life story. I'm a Billings kid, born and raised here, Meadowlark Elementary, Will James Junior High, Billings West High School, and Eastern Montana College. I moved to Las Vegas to follow my wife, who was a special education teacher. We swore we'd be there 1 year, and 30 years later, we moved back to Billings. My family and I bought the Northern Hotel. It was shuttered, it was chained, the lights were off, and had been that way for a few years. And we used Billings labor, Billings architects, engineers, designers, and construction companies to rebuild the Northern into what it is today. In 2013, it was a shuttered hotel, and today, as of 2 months ago, it is in the top 1% of the hotels in America, and there's 189,000 hotels. We did all right. And here's how we did it. We did it with integrity, transparency, a common goal in treating our people with the respect and courtesy so they can treat our customers the same way. That's how I ran the labor forces, the big ones in Las Vegas, from 2,600 people to 16,000 people. And that's how we handled large budgets in good times and bad. So I really want to bring those ideals, along with the community service that I've had for public safety, economic development, and quality of life issues that I've been involved in, to the City Council in Billings. So that's my story.
And as you might have noticed, Trish is going to be in the front giving you guys a bit of time signals, just so keep it fair. We're going to hand it over to Mike Boyette now.
Thank you. I think we should be up doing a song and dance. This is a beautiful stadium. Thank you. Mike Boyette, a Billings kid, Holy Rosary Central, and I graduated from Eastern Montana College, which is now MSUB. Went in the military. I came out as a first lieutenant in the Air Force. I worked on nuclear missiles in the silos. Really interesting job. Everybody will be going to know what a silo is. We'll show you later. But when I got out of the service, I said I wanted to be a cop. So I signed up to be a Billings policeman, but they weren't hiring, so I became a deputy sheriff for Yellowstone County. I was a detective, gambling inspector, arson investigator, and my pride and joy, I was a polygraph examiner. In my first case, I tried it out on my wife. She didn't like that at all. I even tried out my handcuffs, and she didn't like those either. After about 10 years, I decided to do something else. I went to work in banking. I ended up being the corporate security officer for First Interstate Bank, traveling around 3 states looking at fraud and stuff. And guess what? Ended up arresting more people from the banking business than I did being a deputy, because guess what? That's where the money was. But then I started doing my volunteer work. I was the police commissioner for the city of Billings for 7 years, zoning commissioner for 10 years, youth service center, which is the detention facility for kids, if you don't know one that's on South 27, for about 13 years. Did lots of volunteer work, which got me into the public arena. I've been on the city council now about 5.5 years. I've been the deputy mayor for the city of Billings for the last 3.5 years, and that was elected by the city council twice to do that in the city. So going forward, I got 15 seconds left. I want to be your mayor and continue the good work. Thank you.
Alrighty, next let's hear from Amanda Howson.
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm 36 years old. I grew up in Grable, Wyoming. Got married at a very young age. He joined the military, so we moved around a lot. Our car kind of broke down in Billings, and we just stayed here. Everybody is so awesome and welcoming, and it's just been awesome. Every place that we have lived, everybody here has been everything that I wanted, and I call Billings my home. I am going to fight for it, and I will stand up for the Constitution and make sure that everybody has the ability to live the life that they feel they deserve. I am currently getting my bachelor's degree in business, and I am also doing paralegal studies, so I should know a little bit of what I'm doing. But no, I think it's awesome. I love coming out and meeting everybody, and I couldn't think of anything better to do than do this and help people.
Alrighty, and finally Jennifer Owen.
Great, thank you. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. My name is Jennifer Owen. I currently serve on City Council representing Ward 2 in the Heights, and I am running for mayor because Billings is my home. I believe in this community, I believe in its abundant potential, and I want to see us start delivering on that potential. For those of you who don't know me very well, I'm an attorney by training. I have served as a guardian ad litem for children in the child abuse and neglect system, as well as a family mediator. I ran the Head Start program here in our community for about 4 years, and I've had an opportunity to do a tremendous amount of work in homeless communities, work in early childhood. When I talk about public safety, I talk about it from the perspective of keeping children safe. I believe that if we orient our community around the best interests of children, we have a community that is thriving and prosperous for all of us. So I am committed, if elected as your mayor, to making Billings the safest community in the state, to making the kind of infrastructure investments that allow us to have neighborhoods that are thriving and vibrant, and I want a local government that's accountable to you. I want you to feel like you have a voice in the decisions that we make, that you know what's going on in your local government, and that your concerns about your neighborhood are being heard. We are growing as a community, and I want to lead us with a strong vision to grow in the direction of our values, to have neighborhoods where we feel connected to people even as our population grows. We have some big challenges ahead of us, but I am very optimistic for our future. I am really looking forward to the questions tonight, and thank you all for being here.
Alrighty, thank you for your answers, candidates. We're now going to move into some long-form questions where each candidate has 90 seconds to answer the question. Again, Trish is in the front row, and she's going to give you guys some signals, 30, 15, stop. Try to stay within that 90 seconds that you have to answer, just so that we have more time for the audience questions at the end. And please remember that this is a forum, not a debate, so you will not have time for any rebuttals. After the long form questions, we'll have candidates answer some fun rapid response questions, as we mentioned earlier, and they are fun. So just look forward to that. And for this round, we'll just go from audiences left to right, starting with Amanda and ending with Jennifer for all questions, if that works. So question number 1, public safety has been a top issue for candidates, elected officials, and community members for quite some time. What exactly does public safety mean to you, and how would you address the issue if elected? Let's start with Amanda.
Well, that's a really good question. Public safety is where anybody and everybody can and should be able to walk down any street, go anywhere, at any time of day of night, and not feel threatened or unsafe. I believe that we should have more police officers, and we should quit drug testing to have more police officers. Recreational marijuana is legal, and it is stopping everybody from being able to get a job in the government. But honestly, I have no idea what you guys want. I want you guys to tell me what you need, because you are technically the boss, so you have to tell me what you want.
Alrighty, moving next to Mike Nelson.
I agree. Public safety and the status of where we are today is a big problem. It's an issue. Today, I myself, on the way over here, had a run-in with somebody on the street. I've been involved in a number of efforts since I came to Billings to try to improve the public safety issues. Starting in 2018 with public safety seminars, bringing over 200 people to the Northern so that they could talk to their elected officials and their appointed officials so that people could see what each other's issues were. I've done that a number of times. I've been involved in the Citizens for a Safer Billings Committee. I was Secretary of Treasurer, and we were the group that ran the campaign to pass the latest safety mill levy. That brought money to police, fire, and mental health issues in Billings, which are very important. This is not an issue that is just something that we can say, let's bring more police in. We need to take care of the folks that can't take care of themselves. We need to give them a hand up, not a handout. We need to make it okay for them to work and to become a good member of society. So, that's me.
All right, Mike Boyer.
I guess as an old cop, I guess I want to see more cops on the street. I actually saw a police car today on the street. I haven't seen a police car in many weeks driving around. We need more cops. That's the struggle. In order to do that, what do we need? We need funding. We also need more jail space. We, the city, participated with the county to build a new short-term facility. It'll be opening this week, hopefully, where people who are doing this to the local cops right now will see a judge right away. And then shortly, hopefully this year, probably next year, the county's going to come to you and say, we need a bigger jail. We need to do that, but that's not the answer. My first arrest I ever made was at the Colonial Court down on 27. I called the jail back then, which was in the courthouse. They said they were full. They only held 75 people. Our cops today pick up someone and they call down over the jail and say, no, there's 600 in there. We're still full. So I know that we can't arrest our way out of this. We need help with mental health, alcohol diversion. We need some more funding to do that. And that's the biggest issue, I think, for the city council, is we can't correct anything without adequate funding. That's going to be my goal to work forward.
Jennifer Owen.
Great, thank you. So for me, I think public safety means three things. The first is, as you've heard, we need to feel safe in our community. We need to be able to walk where we want to go. Our kids need to be able to walk or bike to school safely. We need to have a sense that our neighborhoods are safe. But I think the thing that we often overlook, and something that's been a priority for me for the last 4 years, is we're a safe community when people are safe in their homes. It continues to be the case that over half of the assaults in the community are family violence related. Whether it's intimate partner violence, whether it's child abuse and neglect, whether it's elder abuse, people right now overwhelmingly in our community don't feel safe in their homes. I am proud that I have worked over the last few years with our law enforcement and prosecutors to develop Montana's first Family Justice Center, co-locating all of the resources that a survivor needs to seek justice and seek safety under one roof. We will not be safe until people are safe in their homes. And then lastly, it means diversion and prevention. We can't be a safe community if we just wait for bad things to happen before we act. We have to do what we can to prevent crime from happening, give our young people hope so that they make choices that are in favor of their future, not against their future. And we have to ensure that people whose interests are not taken care of, or the public interest is not taken care of in the criminal justice system, are appropriately diverted into treatment and substance abuse and support programs so that we're not overloading our jail with people where the public interest is best served elsewhere.
In the interest of fairness, we will be switching up the order for each question. Yeah, sorry, I said we would just go straight over. But for this one, we'll start with Mike Nelson, go to Jennifer Owen, and then go to Mike Foyette, and then finish up with Amanda Hausler. So question 2 will be, our cities are economic engines, creating jobs and growing income tax receipts for the whole state. And yet cities struggle to cover the most basic services. As an elected official leading Montana's largest city, how would you make the case to state leaders to give local governments the tools they need to survive and thrive? Wyatt? Excuse me, thank you, Mike Nelson first. Gets a little tricky when there's two mics.
Hello, I'm Mike Boyette. This is a serious question, and we have to face something. We are a city that provides 20% of the gross national product of Montana. But every year, the city waits for that number on a piece of paper. It's kind of like when you were a kid, how much allowance am I going to get this week? There's a couple of simple things that we can do, and I think the mayor can be a part of that. The first is to build some cohesion and teamwork in the delegation that we send to Helena. I was going to say Hawaii, but Helena. If you look at voting records, you can see that we are in a large part a group of people that go to Helena and vote by party lines. I love the mayor's race because it's nonpartisan, and we can vote for what's good for the city of Billings. We build a team, and we build a vision, and we walk toward that vision with our Helena delegation. We'll stand a lot better chance of bringing the money in that we need to run this city. I got 15 seconds, and to get the respect that the largest city in Montana deserves.
Next up, Jennifer Owen.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. We have to stop apologizing for who we are. We are the economic engine that powers the state, and we need a voice in Helena that recognizes that. We, as mayor and council members, need to be active in engaging with the state's delegation and with the entire legislature to help them understand the economic value and, in fact, the chronic underfunding of critical resources that aren't just about Billings or Yellowstone County, but about the well-being of the entire state. We talk about this a lot. Your tax dollars are subsidizing large parts of the criminal justice system unnecessarily. The state doesn't pay the right amount at Yellowstone County Detention Facility. They don't invest enough in probation and parole officers to monitor and supervise people. They invest resources in prevention and diversion programs in other parts of the state and not here. I hear some of our legislators mention that there's often a giant sucking sound out of Yellowstone County. We send so much more to Helena than we get in return. We have an incredible project going on in the West End, a beautiful series of reservoirs and water treatment facilities, and a complete unwillingness to treat that like the statewide recreation asset that it is and invest in the amenities. We have to be bold about the value of Billings and the fact that when we prosper, all of the region prospers. This is where Montana comes to do business, and we have nothing to apologize for. We have to advocate strong, we have to acknowledge the truth, and we have to be willing to put forward an aggressive agenda that's in the best interest of our community.
Mike Boyett, now it's your turn.
I'm not Mike Nelson. So, for the first time that I've been on the council, we actually met with our people that go to the state. And we bought them lunch one day, and only half of them showed up that are going to represent all of you. Half of them showed up, and those half were divided. The biggest problem I see is we need to get all of those people in one room and say, you're representing Billings and Yellowstone County. Work together for us. Recently, a gentleman came from the state and told us that he was going to build a mental health center east of Big Timber, but told us, he didn't ask us, he didn't talk with us, he said this is what we're going to do. Sometimes I think we are the flatlanders that live out there and we're treated like the stepchild. And then the other thing is, we keep telling them that we get all the people coming from Wyoming buying products, but they use our services and they don't pay anything. Help us generate a different way of taxation other than taxing the little old lady who owns a house on our property taxes. That's a real problem.
And finally, Amanda Hausler.
Well, I think that's a wonderful question, and honestly, I would go through and ask the community what is the best way that we can go through, what money do we need, what needs to be funding first. As long as you guys tell me what we need, then honestly we can go through and figure out the best solution. I had several businesses, I loved my businesses before I sold them, so I know how to do spreadsheets, I know how to make everything look so pretty to make everybody want to invest in it. So if you just tell me what you need, I can make it as fancy as they want it to be, and we can get the funding that we need to make Billings beautiful, better, and an amazing place.
Alrighty, for this round, we'll start with Mike Boyett, then Mike Nelson, then Jennifer Owen, then Amanda Hausler. Question 3, we've got 2 more. We often hear from community members that barriers exist for young people and many others in Billings to access and meaningfully engage with local government. If elected, how do you plan to expand community engagement in local government issues through the mayor's office? Mike Boyett.
Well, one thing I'd like to do is does everybody know where the Babcock Theater is? It's falling apart. We, the city, don't have money to put into that because we'd rather hire policemen, which I understand. What I wanted to do, I met with Matt from the art house. I'd like to get a blue ribbon committee of people together for everything, from the Babcock to the depot to the skate park. We need people. When do you people, I don't see you people at the city council. I want you to start coming to the city council. I see 1 or 2. But we need to listen better. We need to listen better to what the people are saying. But you need to tell us also. You want more policemen, more firemen? Yes, you do, but at what cost? We also, have you heard of the Amen Park? We're building a rec center down there and a ice skating rink. That's going to be for the kids, I think, for the future. It's not the answer to everything, but I think this is a place where kids can at least come and talk and visit and do things together. Listening is what we need to do the best thing of.
Alrighty, Mike Nelson.
Thank you. Listen, I know life is hard. In my workforce, lots of folks have more than one job. I'm sure that a lot of you are like that too. And there's a lot of other activities that take up life so that you can live your life and raise your family. And then all of a sudden it comes along, community involvement, government involvement, paying attention to all that stuff. It's hard. First thing I think that I would do to knock these barriers down is to take the city council and move them around a bit. You know, in the summertime, there's probably no reason why we can't have a city council meeting in South Park. I mean, the city council people, all of them need to see the issues in South Park. And then we can move to North Park. And then we can be in some of the Rimrock neighborhood task force or over in the Heights. Be in the Heights a couple of times. We need to bring government to the people. It needs to be more than just a note in the paper or a 30-second warning that you've got to come to the city council meeting, right? So let's make government accessible by moving it around. I know it's a beautiful new building, and sure, we should use it, but we got to get out, and we got to make life a little easier for the folks who want to be involved.
Jennifer Owen?
Great, thank you. You know, there are a couple of really important things that I think City Council could do much better at. One of them is use and rely on our neighborhood task forces. If you don't attend a task force in your community, in your neighborhood, I sure encourage you to. Those are really vital sounding boards for neighbors to decide what matters in their community and communicate that up. And quite often we as council members don't interact with them as often or as robustly as we should. So as your next mayor, I'd like to strengthen our task forces, ensure that every neighborhood has a task force so that you all have a group of people in your neighborhood who are talking about the things that matter and engaging with you. There's no question that we don't do very well with social media and communication tools. We could do a lot better to just put information out there and engage people more robustly. And then I've been talking with and working with a number of council members on sort of a youth shadow government. Let's get our high school student government and our college student government leaders at the table with us and talk about what matters to young people and do a little bit more listening to the people who either are or will soon be voters. There's just a lot of upside here, thank you, when it comes to what we can do to engage young people, because they're invested in the community, and I think we have tremendous opportunities to be much more receptive, to be much more proactive, and to use the tools that are available to reach more people in the community.
And Amanda Hausler.
Honestly, I have no idea. I just know that the community needs to get more involved. I understand that the city council meetings are pretty late, so it is hard to get there. But if we go through it, we get the children more involved. If we have like bring your kid to work day, or have all the schools come in and see what the government does, or go through and just have surveys, or ride the bus more often, or talk to people down the street, their businesses. Just get everybody more involved and talk and see what everybody wants. Then I believe we can all come together and find out what is better for Billings.
Alrighty, thank you guys so much for all those answers. That actually wraps up our long form. So we're going to loosen things up now and go into some rapid response questions. So before we get into that though, look around for Perry and Katie. Their hands are up right now. So they're going to be collecting any questions you have for the mayors for the next section while we do the rapid response. So if you have any questions for them to collect, hold them up while we're doing this. Please make sure to keep them appropriate. Don't be rude. Anything rude will just be thrown out. If they're similar or need some clarifications, we will edit that before we come up here. And then just a reminder, these are super short, just yes or no. And like I said before, this time we're going to go from the right, audience's right to left for each question, just to make it super fast. So it'll be Jennifer, Mike Boyett, Mike Nelson, and then Amanda. Alrighty, you guys ready? Alrighty, and again, these are supposed to be fun, not too much stress. So, what is your favorite Billings hidden gem?
Oh, the Heights. Please come to the Heights, absolutely. We are the hidden gem of the community.
My favorite is the Skyway walk across the ramps. Whenever people come from out of state, take them up on the rim zone, see that, and they go, wow.
The river. I love the river.
The Babcock Theater.
Great answers. If you could be an animal, what would you be?
I would be a Siberian Husky. Smart, a little finicky, but ultimately very loving.
I guess I would be a bird or like an eagle and fly around so I can see everything going on at the same time.
That's really good. The only thing I can come up with is I'd be an armadillo because I really don't like ants and I'd like to try them.
I would be a pug. They're so cute and fat and cuddly.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, teleportation. If I never had to go through TSA again, that would be amazing.
The ability to stop people on motorcycles speeding at night making noise.
Yeah, I'd like to be funny.
Mind reading. I don't know.
Would you rather have to sing every time you speak or have to dance to enter a room?
Oh man, that's real Sophie's choice. I guess sing every time I spoke, if I just had to sing a little note.
Let's hear it. Yeah.
No!
Dance, because I now get a new pair of white shoes with clickers on the bottom.
All right, you guys decide.
Maybe sing.
Dance.
Love it. All right, what is your favorite restaurant here in Billings?
That's such a hard question. There's so many amazing choices. I would say right now, I really hate to pick one, but Stacked is pretty much a favorite of mine.
Yay! I grew up in the village in pizza, so to me that's pizza.
For a delicious meal that's nowhere finer, try your luck at Bernie's Diner.
I love Taco Bell.
All right, those of you who said you would sing, but this is a question for everyone. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, Don't Stop Believing.
Well, I'm not going to sing.
But what would you pick?
Here Comes the Sun.
We are the champions, my friend.
Starman.
Goes with the shirt. All right, this one's getting a little out there. Do you believe in aliens?
No, I don't. Sorry, I don't. Put me firmly in the anti-alien camp.
Well, even if they would come here, I realize they wouldn't find any intelligence someday, so I'd say no.
Oh yeah, I do. Oh yeah.
Yes, I do.
All right, favorite flavor ice cream?
Oh, usually it's like a Jamocha almond is a favorite, yeah.
Chocolate chip mint.
Loose tracks with about a bottle of Hershey's on it.
I can't really have ice cream, but I always go for strawberry and chocolate.
All right, this one's a little hard. One thing you wish you could change about Billings in 1 to 2 words.
More voter turnout in this municipal election.
And I'll say it again, the loud motorcycles at night.
Let's be more proud of our city.
I don't know. I think it's great. You can just improve it a little bit. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Alrighty, and then a reminder, if you do have any more of those questions, Perry and Kate, you're still walking around, just hold them up so we can get them for the next section. Just a couple more quick questions for you guys. What was the last book you read?
Oh, strangely, the last book I read was I'm trying to convince my son to learn Spanish, and so I read him Percy Jackson, the first book in Spanish, so that was the last one I read.
It was called Undaunted Courage. It was Lewis and Clark coming across. If you haven't read it, it's real incredible.
Well, one of my supporters gave me a book, Willard Frazier, Montana's Mayor, so I'm reading that.
Wild Montana Sky.
Alrighty. What fictional world would you want to live in that same realm?
What fictional world would I want to live in? Gosh, I'm not sure I have an answer for that. Sometimes being in politics feels like its own fictional world, so I'm not sure I have a good answer for that.
Star Wars. Star Wars.
I'm really happy here. Billings is my safe place.
Skyrim.
Alright, what's your go-to midnight snack?
I'm a Cheez-It fan. That's a go-to late night snack for me.
Chocolate chip cookie.
Refried beans.
Mighty Buddies.
Yum. Alright, and this last one may make or break it. Do you like the smell of sugar beets?
Hey, that's the smell of money. You bet I do.
Growing up in Billings, that was part of life. That's okay.
Yeah, we're just downwind from the sugar beet factory, and I love it.
I honestly can't answer that because I recently got my sense of smell, so I'm really new to everything.
Oh, when the season comes, we might have to ask you again. Alrighty, so once again, if you have any more questions, make sure you get those to Katie and Perry. We're gonna head into that in just a second once I get them. Okay, we got a lot of questions, which is super amazing. Thank you all for participating. We're just gonna get through as many as we can. And this time, just in the sake of trying to go fast, we will go from audience left to right instead. Alrighty, and again, for this, we're gonna have 60 seconds and Trish will be keeping count in the front. Alrighty, so first question is, what is your position on the new Montana State Hospital located in Yellowstone County? Beginning with Amanda.
I think that we need it. I do agree that the location is questionable, but if we go through and negotiate and talk with everybody, the community, then we can go through and find the perfect location for it. But I do believe Billings needs one.
Yeah, I think that ship has sailed as far as it being in Billings. I know the state is issuing RFPs, and it looks like it might be Laurel or Columbus. I do believe, however, this is something that we should have, but in the way that we want it and where we want it, right? We need to have a say because, again, we are Montana's largest city.
So when the state came, I visited with the gentleman. He said, we're going to do it. He didn't ask our permission. He didn't ask for our advice. He didn't ask for our counseling. So do we need one eventually? No question about it. I've delivered people myself to Warm Springs. We do need that. But they need to cooperate. They need to be part of they need to cooperate with us. They need to ask us our opinion instead of just telling us. So not right now, the way they presented it, no.
I think this is another great chance for us to advocate for our community, right? We need to go back to the state with a plan. They have a very narrow need, which is criminal forensic commitment. We have many more needs, which includes therapeutic situations, civil commitment, the need to develop a workforce. I think we need to go back to the state and say, these are the things that we want to invest in collectively so that we build up the infrastructure, because whether it goes in Columbus or Laurel or anywhere in Yellowstone County, we know the workforce is here. So this is our chance to advocate and to build out the mental health resources we need. The state's not there yet, but this is our chance to stand up with a plan. The behavioral health part of our community has developed a needs analysis, a gap analysis. It's a very well done document. It should inform our advocacy with the state. This is our chance to expect some collaboration from our state partners.
Thank you for those answers. Next audience question is, if someone proposed banning books at the library, what would you do? Begin with Amanda.
I feel that we shouldn't be banning books. I do agree that we do need to go through and look and see what kind of books are being put in there, and if there is an age restriction, we do need to put it on there. But banning books is not the answer.
Agreed. I'd stand between them and the books if I had to.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I grew up, reading a book. So no, I don't want to ban them, not at all.
As I mentioned, I'm a lawyer, so I grew up in that world of learning that the cure for bad speech is more speech, not less. If we disagree with something, talk more about it, advocate, present alternate worldviews. Let's make sure that people understand that they know what's available, but if people feel strongly about things, advocacy and engagement is the answer, not prohibitions and bans.
Next question, how do you plan to help youth who are experiencing homelessness, specifically those under 25 who are criminalized for street camping? Begin with you, Amanda.
Well, I would work with Tumbleweed. Tumbleweed is a wonderful program, and I've utilized it and used it. I know almost everybody who works there. So I would go through and I would go in there every day, talk to them, find out what they need, how we can get them houses, how we can get them jobs, and if they need education, according to the Montana State Constitution, education should be free.
I can tell you what I have done. It's not uncommon in the locker room at the Northern Hotel to see suitcases with people attached to them. They don't have a place to stay. We have given people work, we have given them opportunities and a path towards getting permanent housing. We have even thrown our money at people, that's the wrong way of saying it, but we've helped people to get their own apartments. I also support a new nonprofit organization called Off the Streets, who's been pretty successful in getting folks on the path towards permanent housing and stability in their lives. We need a lot of that, and we need some work together to take a look at the way that we're funding the mental health and make sure that we're doing it efficiently, that we're not going cross purposes, that we're all walking towards that same goal and getting the things done that we need to get done.
There's no easy answer. If there was an easy answer, we'd already been doing it. Growing up in Billings, I had my neighbors took care of me. My father wasn't there, so they took care of me. The men in the neighborhood showed me how to drive a car and all that stuff. Our neighborhoods, we need our neighborhoods to come together. I don't think the city itself should do it because there's organizations out there that do it. We have 18 different organizations doing the same product. I want the organizations to come together, give us information so that we can help not fund it, but give money to it and bring in outside resources. I give money myself to all the charities that are in Billings. I want fly there. I want more people to do the same thing and participate in this organization together.
So I think in addition to all the great answers you've heard, we have to get upstream of this issue. We have to help our kids before they end up in homelessness. We have made progress in this community in addressing the number of children who end up aging out of foster care, but there sure is a lot more work to do. We know that there are children in our K-12 system experiencing homelessness. The difference in resources available to children under 18 and young adults over 18 is pretty significant, and we need to get to them sooner. One of the things that I've worked on in partnership with some of our great organizations is more mentoring for young people so that they have someone who's beside them. I've advocated for city staff to get paid time off to go mentor in our community. We have 1,100 people who work for us. That's a lot of mentors that we can flood the zone with and help young people before they end up in crisis. We just have to get upstream of it. Yes, we want work programs. Yes, we want housing options. We want all of those things, but the best thing we can do is prevent it from happening in the first place.
All Alrighty. We have about 5 more minutes and we're going to change up the order just a little bit. So this time we'll start with Mike Boyette, Jennifer Owen, and then we'll come back around to Amanda and then Mike Nelson. For this question, it's going to be, what is your position on having an ICE detention center in Billings? Mike Boyette.
Well, first of all, I don't see that there's a need for it. I haven't talked to any ICE agents. I haven't seen that. I know that the county came out and wanted to build a facility for them at the fairgrounds. I just didn't see the need for it. If the government came to the city and said, we're going to do this, we're obligated by law to follow them, but I don't see the need for it at this point.
I have pretty limited experience in this area, honestly, but what I've observed is that ICE does not have a lot of desire to detain in this community. Likewise, I have not heard a huge outcry for this in the community. There is an infrastructure that exists. I know it's important to our police officers that we cooperate with our federal partners because that resources much of the community work that we do, but at this time I have not heard from our law enforcement or frankly from any federal partners that there's a substantial need for detention in this facility, or in this community, excuse me.
If they build it.
All right, we're going to move to Amanda. Yeah, thank you. What is your position on having an ICE detention center in Billings?
I honestly don't think that we need one, but again, it's not my decision. It is what the community wants. The community is in charge. We are just working for them. So whatever you guys want and need, that is what I'm going for.
Ditto. I, like a lot of you, was pretty surprised and not very pleased when I read about what the proposal for a Metro with the holding facility was. That's not the view of our community. That's not what our community wants to look like. It doesn't send the right message.
We'll keep the same order for this next question. How can we address growth in Billings West End, increased need for city services, including water and land use in those areas? So again, we'll begin with Mike Boyette this time.
Well, if you drive around the West End, which I do every Sunday I get in the car and I go a different direction to see what's happening in the city of Billings. We're growing already. We're growing great guns. What we need to do, though, is, unfortunately, is we need to control some of this, because the county, they do things in the county that's not in the city, and then eventually those people become city residents or they want to be annexed. One of the things, I was on the city zoning commission, because when you build a big neighborhood out in the West End, and you put in a 4-inch line, eventually you're going to be annexed into the city and there's a 6-inch line, they don't match. So one of the things we try to do is get the city and the county on the same page so that growth happens, they can come in and be annexed in easily. This is a good question. We don't want leapfrogging every time we want. That's not a good thing for us. Leapfrogging is a bad thing.
When we talk about growth, people are going to build where there's a path of least resistance. So I think we need to spend some time making sure that other neighborhoods are equally the path of least resistance. We have 2 beautiful transportation corridors coming into the Heights, right? The Skyway Drive and the Billings Bypass. We need to do what we can to encourage those to be areas for development. So rather than sprawling, we're building in some areas where we need community investment. We have, I think, historic opportunities to invest in the Billings South Side and encourage that. And honestly, we need to take a hard look. We talk a lot in this community collectively, not we council, collectively we, about wanting infill, but we have not aligned our regulations to do that. We often have parking requirements that are burdensome. We have regulatory obstacles that disadvantage it. So if we're going to support free market and private property, which I do, then I think we need to look at the barriers that are making the West End more advantageous and ensure that there is incentive to develop in every neighborhood in our community.
Well, first, according to the Montana State Constitution, you have to be a resident of Montana in order to buy property. You have to be a resident for 5 years in order to buy any property. So anybody who is out of state coming here and just purchasing should not be able to do that. Also, I also think that everybody should be able to say what they feel that they want. Do we want to expand? What kind of houses do we want? Do we want an apartment complex? Everybody needs to be able to stand up and say, this is what I want. We should be able to vote on it.
I think we might be putting the cart before the horse here, because the West End sprawl is going to be matched by the East End sprawl with Skyway Trail and a room for 7,200 more houses. Paying for the infrastructure in that is only possible by raising your taxes unless we concentrate on development of the inner core, and we're sitting in it, folks. Do you know that Rimrock Mall pays about the same property taxes as the Northern Hotel? Imagine all the cost of plowing the snow around Rimrock Mall. They get paid, we get paid, the city gets paid the same amount as we get paid to plow 250 feet of street in front of the Northern Hotel. We need tax-dense development, say at 6th and 27. We need a bunch of buildings with mixed use where people will feel safe and want to live and want to recreate and have the culture they need to become great Billings residents.
Alrighty, that is all the time we had for audience questions. So thank you again to all the candidates for making it here tonight and participating. We are going to take a 5 to 10 minute break before we get into the city council forum. So snack, get a drink, take a little break.